Yeah, so I got a couple of boxes from PSA, and I want to go through these. It's always a good time going through these and seeing what you've got, seeing what the grades are, and actually remembering what cards I sent to them 4 months ago, which is about how long it's been taking to get the cards back from them. So yeah, it's always a good time to go through these, and a lot of times I look and say, oh yeah, I did have one of those. So yeah, there you go. Before I get ahead of myself, my name is Reed, and I've been collecting rare music cards for over 30 years. I search the globe for hard to find music cards, both vintage and not so vintage, to add to my always growing collection. I don't consider myself an expert at any of this. I'm just a guy with a camera enjoying this crazy hobby. Feel free to come along every Sunday where I'll post a new video showing my inside look at how I go about growing my collection. Welcome to collecting music cards. All right, so we have yet another grade reveal from PSA on music cards, and this is a submission. I can't remember how many this was. Let's get these out of here and look at the form, and it'll tell us how many we've got here. Okay. We've got some in the bigger slabs, and we've got some in the smaller slabs. Let's go through the smaller slabs first, and we'll see what we've got here. And we'll check a few pop reports along the way. This is a really nice grade on this one. This is a PSA 8, and that's on the Jacksons. That's from 1980 Rock and Pop collection. These are some extra cards. I submitted, I believe, 20 some of these when I broke a box, and I had some extras that I wanted to send in after that, so I went ahead and sent these. I'm glad I sent that one because that one's a PSA 8 right there. That's a really strong grade on that card for Jackson's 44-year-old card, and so that's a pop 4, and there are only 3 higher of that. And this card right here, Michael Jackson, this is only a PSA 6. And a little bit off center. They're not exactly liking it too much. And that's a PSA 6 right there. And I don't know what a PSA 6, that's also from the 1980 Rock and Pop collection from Panini. And there's 12 higher than that. There's 5 of these 6s, and there's 12 higher than that. Billy Joel, it's a nice grade, PSA 8. Hoping for a 9, but the centering on this card, there's no way. I think this must be a perfect card because they gave me an 8. And with centering that's off that bad, the rest of the card's got to be really nice in order to catch an 8 on a card that's far off centered. So there we go. That's a PSA 8. And what's an 8 on these Billy Joels nowadays? 8 on Billy Joel. There's 8 8s and there are 2 9s out there. Next up, Linda Ronstadt, PSA 8, and that's a solid grade on that one there. Yeah, that's an 8 because the centering is not exactly perfect. That centering, I'd probably knock it for a grade on that centering alone. So let's see here. Linda Ronstadt, PSA 8. There are 6 of those, and there are 2 9s out there. Let's see here. And let's take this one. We've got 1997 Ultra Figus Rock Pearl Jam. Now, these are cards that come out of a pack that really, if these cards weren't pulled from the pack back in '97, over the years the packs have not weathered very well, and the outer cards in the pack, the ones that touch the actual wrapper, have all kinds of black residue on them that you can't get off the cards because the paper from the pack just adhered to the cards. So only the interior cards on the pack turned out okay. This must have been an interior card. This is Pearl Jam. That's a monster grade for me, a PSA 8. I just really haven't had a lot of great grades on these cards, so I'm really excited to see what this 8 does here. Wow, that is great, an 8. Yeah, there's 5 8s out there, and there's nothing higher. So there are 5 of these 8s of Pearl Jam, and there's nothing higher. And I don't know of an earlier card than this one for Pearl Jam. I could be incorrect, and you can feel free to comment, but I don't know of an earlier card than that one. This is out of Premium Rock Shot out of Sweden. This is Series Q. I had a couple of Series Q cards here I wanted to submit, and I did really well on this one. This is the Guns N' Roses card. Now remember, these aren't real old cards. These are only 2019, but it's just an outstanding set from an organization, or Premium Publishing is a company that owns all the rights to millions and millions of rock and roll photos. They are a conglomerate of photographers that have taken rock pictures throughout the decades, and they're located in Sweden. And what they did was they took some of their best photos back in 2019 and created a couple of 64 card sets. Some musical talent from the 80s, and that was the Q set, and some musical talent from the 90s, and that was the Y set. And they're very hard to get, these cards. They did not distribute a lot of them. And this card here, I got really lucky, and I got a PSA 10 on that. I got a feeling that is going to be standing out there all alone. Yeah, that's a Pop 1, and there are none higher. And then I've also got the Metallica Series Q card, and I'm really happy to have that one as a 10 also. These do not always grade as 10s. These have centering issues, all kinds of issues with the cards, and the centering issues are atrocious on some of them. And like, for instance, my Y set, there's M&M is in the Y set, and I've graded a handful of those, and I'll never receive a 10 on that. This is a Pop 1 with 0 higher also. So there we go with Metallica. Let's move these over, and let's go with some of these cards here. You know, I love my German cards, and these are the Panini Smash Hits from 1985, which everyone's familiar with that knows music cards. But this is the German version of this Ozzy card. Here's one more that I'm doing. This is only a PSA 5. I can see that centering-wise, it's not in great shape centering-wise. But I think the rest of the card is nice. But they obviously found some problems with it. And that is a PSA 5. And let's see how a 5 sits here. There are 2 PSA 5s out there, and there are 6 cards higher. And there we are. That's Ozzy in the German variety of that card. Here is the Queen card in that German variety. Wow. PSA 9. That's going to be a monster. Wow. Look at Queen. I love that photo. And I was dealing with a guy in Germany, and we were talking about this card at one time, and he had pointed out to me that that photo was taken 3 miles from his house. And I actually went online. I found a neat video of them pulling up and getting out of the car and going and standing there, and a bunch of reporters were there, and that's when they actually snapped that shot. And there we go. This is a Pop 2, and there are none higher. So there's only 2 of these Germans that are in 9, and there's no 10s out there. I was able to finally get a hold of a Madonna, 1985 Madonna German variety from Panini Smash Hits collection. And this only turned out to be a 6, but I'm really happy with the grade because this card, I, uh, I bought off of someone in Germany. I bought a lot of cards, just like a lot, meaning 10, 12 cards or something. And this card was just in the lot. It didn't have any special price on it or anything like that. I probably have $5 into this card, and it's a much, much rarer card than that. So this is a PSA 6. You're probably familiar with the card itself in the English version. It's the same picture in the English version, but you can see the German version has this back here, the German language. And this Madonna being a PSA 6, let's see where we're at with that. I know there's not a ton of these out there. I know the English version, everyone who's had one pretty much graded it. This is a pop one, and there's only one higher. It's card number 21. I would be interested to see the one that's higher, card number 21. I have to click on it. The one that is higher, oh, hold on, card number 21 in the German version, okay. Yeah, you can see that my 6 is on there, and there is an 8 out there. So that's nice to have that there. I love this Michael card. It's card 125, and it is only a PSA 4, but I got this in a deal from someone in Germany along with some other cards, and I was real happy to be able to get this. Even though it's only a 4, it's still a really, really cool card, especially the fact that that is the rare German variation. And let's go to done. Let's go back. And this card, a lot of these have been graded. Well, not so much the German variation, but... And... yeah, we're looking at Pop 2, and there's only 3 higher as far as a PSA 4. Pop 2 and only 3 higher. That's crazy. And all right, this next up is a 1984 David Bowie from the '84 Smash Hits collection. Notorious black border on these cards. Very tough to grade these. And get a good grade. I got a PSA 8 on this. That's super strong. Anytime you're getting an 8 on one of these 1984s, you're doing great, because I'll tell you, that black border is just notorious for white corners and white edges. And yeah, let me show you the card real quick. Just a super shot of David Bowie. Really cool looking card. It does have to go in this bigger slab because it's slightly bigger than a standard 3.5 by 2.5. The standard American card. It's slightly bigger than that. And let me get a shot of this back. That's a pop 1, and there are none higher on that card. So that's a special card right there. Oh yeah, these are in here. Oh yeah. Let me go to this first, and then I'm going to finish up with these. This card, and this card, and this card. All 6 of these cards I bought out of Italy. I bought them recently, and as some of you know, a lot of my cards I've had for 20 years, 30 years. And some of these more modern cards, I've just started acquiring them over the past 5 years. Well, these cards I got very recently. I got all these, stickers, cards. I got all these 4 and this out of Italy, and it was tough to get them. I was dealing with people that did not want to ship to the USA. The cards were very, very inexpensive, and I can't even say the price because they were so low. But I took the chance to get them. I had the cards sent to a reshipper in Italy. it was 3 separate orders. These cards right here. These 4 here were in one order, and these 2 were in an order, and there was another card in another order. Oh no, this one of these was in an order. These 3 were in an order, and these 2 were in order. So that's 3 different orders that I did in Italy. Now, they had to ship these from locally in Italy to another local place in Italy that would reship them to me. It took 30 days to locally ship them from Italy to Italy. That's how slow the mail is there. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and I just kind of assumed my money was gone. And I had, into all these cards, I probably had $50. But I knew that on the other end, once I did the reshipping, they were going to charge me another $100 to ship them to me, and I knew that. So I was hoping that they would either all show up or none would show up. If none showed up to the reshipper, I'd be out $50. If some of them showed up, well, I'd have, let's say just this card showed up, I'd have to decide whether or not I wanted to pay $100 to reship that to me from Italy to me through the reshipper. Luckily, after 30 days, in day 28, 29, and 30, that's when they all showed up. Even the guy on the other end that was waiting for them was like, wow, that was crazy. So let me go through these real quick, and I'll show you what I got. This Phil Collins is a, let's face it, Phil Collins is just a great card to collect. There's not a lot of them out there. There's a good handful, but there's just some great Phil Collins cards that I really like. This is the 1987 Phil Collins, and this is the Italian variation. You can see Italian on the back, and this is a really high grade. That's a PSA 8, and let's go here. PSA 8, Phil Collins, Italian variation, Panini. That's a pop 1, and there are none higher. So that is outstanding. That right there makes that whole mess worth it. And so, but there's more. This is a really cool Janet Jackson card from '87, and once again, the Italian variation. And that's the front of the Janet Jackson card now. Not a great grade on this. Oh, yeah, this one was a great grade. I was looking at, I thought I saw a 6. That is actually a PSA 8. And that PSA 8 is a pop 1 and none higher. So now I got 2 pop 1s out of this little experiment. And I remember I'd be talking to my wife every other day, and she'd say, hey, you ever get those cards? And I say, no, doesn't look like I'm going to get them. Well, they finally did come. And now I have 4 Beastie Boys cards here. I've got 2 of Ad Rock, 1 of MCA. I didn't get a Mike card, but I also got the card number 185, the Beastie Boys group card. So we'll go through that last. This first one here is a PSA 5 of Ad Rock, and I believe I paid $2.95 plus $1 shipping to get this card. And if you know anything about these cards, you know that the 1988 Panini Beastie Boys cards are their first cards. So this is really a substantial card. And as a PSA 5, there's only one 5 out there. This is it, and there are 7 Ad Rock cards higher than that. Let's go to MCA. And MCA, I got a PSA 7. That's that's a great grade. I wasn't expecting anywhere near that when I bought these cards, being that I was paying a few dollars a piece for these. But let's see what we've got. And population 1, and there are only 2 higher than this MCA card here. Next, this Ad Rock card that's a PSA 7. Wow. There's Ad Rock right there. Card number 13. PSA 7. And I'm very happy to have this card that is a Pop 3, and there's only one higher. And then this was really the catch right here. This was my favorite one. I bought this like the others. It was less than $5. And this card right now, as a PSA 6, probably sits as probably about a $400 card. PSA 6, Beastie Boys 1988 group shot. Just a really nice card. I'm happy to have the 6. I'm happy that, first of all, I was able to get it. Second, I've never been able to really get my hands on one of these at a reasonable price before. And this PSA 6 is a Pop 3, and there are only 3 higher. So there we go. That's what's in this. This was an interesting assortment of cards, I thought. And I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.